doable. You get him 4 or 5 catches a game, and
Yep.
you see that one catch that he made, and he makes a couple misses, and he's getting like 15, 20 yards. I mean, you get a couple like that. I mean, that's a good game. Plus his whatever rushing yard he's going to have. He didn't break the century mark, but you look across the field there, and he's playing against the best running back right now, and he outplayed him.
That's a good point.
That's a good point. Yeah, definitely. I'm sure that didn't go unnoticed by Josh Jacobs with all the talk about Christian McCaffrey. I do. Rashard and Devontae did a good job in this game. I thought receiving. I thought the one thing I saw in a lot of the videos of practice is that when I saw Booker catch the ball out of the backfield with a lot of passes from Derek, it was very fluid. Like I knew that was gonna be a part of his game. So he had, on that last drive, he did a good job with that. And also before Carlson hit that 54-yard field goal, which was, I'm telling you, that good for him, because I did not have any faith in that ball he was gonna make that. But the play before that on third down, great job by Zay Jones blocking, and all the extra yardage that Jalen Rashard was able to get him in position for that field goal. It was a big. Those 3 points were huge, because it changes. They're up by 1 instead of up by 4. That last drive is totally different. So, if you guys can mention about thoughts about the backfield as a whole, because spelling Josh Jacobs and giving the team the opportunity to give him a little rest was really important for this team.
Yeah, I know, Sean, you mentioned it on Twitter the other day that you got to raise your hand and say I wasn't big on having what's his face come out, and you know what, he made some plays, and Gruden dialed some good plays up for him. Everything but that red zone play, that was like 2-yard pass. That was probably the only thing I'd probably be critical about. But he came in, and it was a good change of pace. I like with Richard's position, though. You put him in on third down, let him run out, let him run a wheel out route or whatever, something underneath. But yeah, if you get Booker and Jacobs healthy, you just keep it going. Ooh, I am a little worried that the style of play that Jacobs runs, I mean, you saw him on one play just literally run right through somebody. He put his head down, and that's scary. That scares me, because he's a physical player, but he's got to last 16 games plus, and play tough, but play smart.
And what's funny about that is Booker was such a good product coming out of Utah. Like he was, and we just saw him go flat in Denver. For whatever reason it was, we won't understand. But I'm just looking at his stat line here. He had 3 receptions for 23 yards. So that's 7.7 a catch. And on the ground, I believe he had, he was averaging like 5 a carry or something like that too. So he was like extremely productive, and he got flanked out at wide receiver. I love that. I love seeing us do that. And guess what? Who was supposed to do that for us this year? The guy that ain't on the team anymore. Ain't on the gravy train, like Dwayne said. Bowden, you're gone. PJ Hall, you show up fat. You're gone. Guess what? Booker came in. He was a little bit of an underdog to make the team, and he busted his butt, and Gruden saw the right character traits, and in combination with the physical traits. And I couldn't be happier. As a skeptic, I'm happy to be proven wrong, because I really think that helps solidify our backfield. We know what Jalen can do, but that pushes his role back to something a little bit more specific. And Booker to me was one of the biggest shocks when I was watching the team. He made some critical plays. It's nice when Josh Jacobs goes to get a Gatorade bottle on the sideline, and Booker's getting you a first down. I mean, exactly. You can't beat that. And that causes teams that normally want to just stack the box, or we don't have to account for that guy. He's the 2-3 down back. We're not going to worry about him. Well, there's some things on film where people have to know where he's at on the field. Good call on the staff, Gruden and everyone, and Ken. Ken.
I vouched for him.
Yeah,
I did vouch for him.
Credit due.
But it is week one. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, it is. But regardless, hey man, he put something out there that I didn't expect, so it's a good thing. I think,
good thing. Exactly. Offensive line. Listen, the guy talk about you. I mean, it's not about eating crow. It's about I'm glad to be proven wrong when it comes to the Raiders. Because the negative thoughts do come into your mind once in a while.
Well, it doesn't help when Sean's over there trying to get you.
Did you hear about these new Geico savings?
Yeah. Pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. Hold on.
Yeah.
I understand, but I do. I wasn't thrilled about getting Tom Cable back, but I gotta say, man, like he has been phenomenal. He's been great, and whenever somebody does get hurt, it's next man up, and you don't gotta worry about it. And I know even when Trent Brown, people were texting me and DMing me, oh my God, Trent Brown's out. It's gonna be Sack City. I mean,
Yeah.
zero,
Zero.
zero
Yeah.
pressures, zero sacks. I mean, it was an unbelievable performance by that offensive line, and it's like Derek Brown showed up and made some plays. He's a pretty good pretty good tackle, and Burns didn't do. I mean, I didn't know he played yesterday. Like that's the kind of dude. Colton is say what you want, and I understand that. I wanted Derwin James myself, but he has been. This is the year where if he just stays healthy and keep this going. Now he has to go against Jordan next week of the Saints, so that's not going to be so that's not going to be easy either. But if he does another good job, keeps doing these jobs of shutting out these top pass rushers, he has to get consideration for a Pro Bowl.
That's a really good point. I think that, Derek Carr, was it like 2 hurries or 3 hurries or something like that, didn't get touched. And that defensive line, I mean, it's solid. You saw what they did last year. That didn't change much, other than the addition of Brown, who was a big boy. Ooh, that boy looked powerful. But when you got Incognito, Gabe Jackson, and Hudson right in front of you, and you're blocking, it's not going to really matter much. So then you look at the edge, but good, held it down, pretty good. And Witten did his part there too. I know he didn't show up on the stat sheet too much. But that's some big boys protecting Carr and giving he needs 3 seconds to get a really good pass out, and that's more than enough time. I have nothing but good things to say about the Colton Miller pick. I remember when they selected him, I was like, who? And then I'm like, okay, you know what? It's a left tackle. Was it McGlinchey or whatever got picked prior?
Niners.
Yeah, to the Niners. I thought that the Raiders may go there. I thought it was going to be Derwin James for sure, and but yeah, there it is, and he's got to be considered for a Pro Bowl if he continues what he's doing here, because he does.
And they win. They got to win first. They got to win too. Unfortunately, they got to win.
Yeah. And I think Incognito, and you go back when Kalechi was playing with the Raiders at that left guard position. Miller plays better when there's a seasoned vet next to him. When they had a sub come in, he wouldn't play that well. He didn't play that well. But maybe that's a learning thing that he needs to get through. But yeah, I'm all on board with Miller.
Yeah.
I think Miller was great. And the other thing, just to hit on it real quick, I think it was a combination. We'll get to it later when we talk about kind of what happened with the offense at times. But when those injuries were happening, we took a few shots early, right? Went Ruggs early, second play of the game. Went Ruggs later. We went Aguilar at one point. But overall, I think what happened is the game plan shifted a little bit. So there was no sacks, no pressures, but normally I'm on Gruden, but on him for his conservativeness, but I felt like they kind of had to play the cards that way yesterday. They had a comfortable lead. They let it slide a little bit, but they just really, you don't want Carr taking a 5-7 step drop. It just makes no sense. And if you look what Carolina was doing scheme wise, they were playing 3 safeties back at sometimes. Unbelievable. I mean, they had Jeremy Chin, the rookie, 3 safeties on the field, in the middle of the field, 2 hashes in the middle, just backed up 15 yards off the line of scrimmage. You're not going to go down the field. You're going to do your little dink and dunks with Renfro, with Waller, misdirection. So the Raiders did what they had to do to survive and miss the surprise injuries. But the offensive line, Cable, that if we're going to be a double-digit win team this year, it's going to have to look like what it did Sunday as far as in the trenches.
Yeah, I thought that he did a really good job. This commercial is not coming up. These commercials are just relentless.
Geico wants you.
Oh my goodness,
right
Jesus
now,
Lord! I'm gonna get rid of that page. They really want. I'm with the general. I'm not going to Geico. But I do like how they changed. You saw some a lot of inside runs in between the tackles, because that's where the strength was. You have Gabe Jackson, Cognito, and Hudson there, so they kind of made a change there. And then at the end, they mixed it up and went outside for the game-winning touchdown. So I do like that. I do like the way they kind of mixed and match there. The strength wasn't outside anymore, so don't push it towards Denzel good if you don't have to, and in that situation, we'll have to wait and see during the week to see what happens with the injury situation. Special teams. Carlson did a great. Carlson kicked. He made the kick he had to make. I mean, the 54-yarder was huge, so I give him a lot of credit for that. Yeah, I will give him. I'll give Dom the bomb credit for that because he feels the pressure. He feels the heat. He feels the heat. He feels the heat coming from behind. I would say one thing. I'm thrilled about the. I'm not thrilled about the. As an army convoy kind of goes by. Um, um, I, I I do like the fact that he made those kicks, but I don't special teams at all. I just feel like we give up a little bit too much as far as return yard. Your return yards. I realize Farrell Cooper is a good returner. He was that with the Rams, but by all means, do not. I mean, this week especially, one thing that Sean Payton thrives on is special teams. You saw it in that game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They were able to make some plays and able to and able to get things going there as well. So you got to watch. You got to watch that. Carr played well. I don't think there's any way of saying it. I think Carr played well. I think he was in total command of everything. All the plays he had to make, he made. The throw to the end zone he had to make, that he made it. I thought that. I thought the call. All my Eagles fans text me immediately after Aguilar caught that ball. Of
Yeah.
course, as soon as he caught that ball, they were like, "Get out of here with this."
You know
Like
what I
Ted Ginn
liked.
Jr.
No, I like that.
Yo, he was like Tank Jr. Yeah.
We opened up the game, with that bomb to Ruggs, and you want to showcase your first round pick. And I went back and I looked at that play a couple times. I know it was a miss, and at first sight it looked like he overthrew it. He didn't overthrow it, man. That money was right. That ball was right on the money. But if you look at the cornerback, he kind of almost grabbed
Yep.
in a split second. He grabbed Ruggs' arm, which
He passed interference.
yeah, and it was a blown call in a sense, but it was on the money. So they got to keep doing that. And the other play, the play action that they had Ruggs coming across the field there. At first, it looked like one of his ducks, kind of one of the floaters. But then if you looked, I don't know if it was Chin or the other safety there. He was coming out, had a really good angle on the top, so he put it right in the money there. I think Ruggs kind of slowed down just a little bit. If he would have had that just a little bit more burst, or just would have jumped another yard, less than a yard, he would have got the touchdown. So I was really excited to see them stretch the field. I felt like Ruggs got a lot of playing time or a lot of plays thrown his way. And you can see this guy's going to be a player. He's going to be a problem for some teams. Once they get the groove going, they get the timing down. He can run some routes, man. I know they did that flea flicker, and he didn't fall in bounds there, but he still caught it, and that was really pretty. Edwards has remained to be seen. I know that he did a lot of stuff off the stat line there, as far as blocking and running routes and whatnot. He had one good catch. I thought Carr did his part. He played perfect game manager. He protected the ball. He got the ball out right. He called the right calls. Anytime you call Stacy Gruden Tiger Woods, that's
Oh, that was
that's
incredible.
yeah.
Cindy, that was
Cindy.
incredible.
Yeah, that's a recipe for Super Bowl right there. You put that up there with
Such a
Spider
great
Banana. Yeah.
such a great audible. I love that. I love that call.
Yeah, I,
I
I
like
I thought Carr played very well. I thought he did everything. He was in command. I think that's the number one word.
Yes,
He
I would
wasn't
agree.
Wasn't 3-4 touchdowns. It wasn't wow plays. The strike to Aguilar was just a beautiful throw. Like in stride, right over the shoulder of the defender, right where it needed to be. And that was a nice thing to see because Ruggs was on the sideline at the time. So to see that he could throw a strike. I think the important thing is they see man coverage. Carolina played a lot of zone, a lot of things off, and those concepts. You're not going to take a lot of deep strikes against zone. At least we didn't have to because we could eat up underneath. But that was an impressive throw. I know what everyone's talking about. I do think that was a little bit of a hot air balloon throw to Ruggs. It should have been a touchdown. I don't think he should have threw it like further. I think he should have flattened the trajectory of the ball, like kind of zipped it in there, and then Ruggs could just sprint like
Get it in
hell.
faster to him, right?
So flatten the trajectory. I mean, he threw it like a rainbow, but that's kind of picking and choosing. It is what it is. The completion was made. I'm just saying, like those things, throwing balls short behind wide receivers is how you get people hurt. So overall, though, Carr across the stat line and what he did, perfect command of the offense. He called timeouts when he needed to. He checked out of things when he needed to. It just seemed like he is that field general for us. And because Josh Jacobs is so talented, I feel like that's what Carr needs to be. That's like he's going to have some games where he's probably going to throw 3 touchdowns, but I'm okay with a 1 touchdown, 280, no
Zero
picks,
turnovers.
no fumbles, no
Yeah.
no strange, just play within the confines of the offense and believe in the system. And I think that's what they did. So I was happy to see that. And Ruggs did have 2 rushes, which was nice, right? We talked about that before. We said, hey, they're going to get him the ball however they can. And they did. He got a couple rushes as well. So had he not got gimped and limped up a little bit, I think he would have been more of like an 8-catch day. He probably would have eclipsed 100 yards.
Yeah.
But I think that kind of threw everything off. And then also the pace of the game, we went up double points. So we kind of peeled back a little bit aggressively. But good things from Carr. It's everything we talked about in this podcast, right? All 3 of us expected the offense to be humming against this young defense, and it did.
Yeah, they delivered. As some of you guys said, it was a must-win, especially coming out the gates, and they showed up. I don't know if you guys want to get into the defense now.
Well, that was the good because I can't think of any more good that we missed.
Let me get one last thing in. So
Yeah.
34 points, all from the offense. Nothing
Yep.
was attributed from defensive scores. Was that outputs anything we scored last year?
No short fields either, right? No short fields where they got. Yeah.
So I mean that was huge. The only short field we had was when Monster Mash Ken's younger brother Hunter Renfro broke a punt 27 yards and brought it out to the 49-yard
Yeah,
line.
that's true. That's true.
Which was
my
big.
dog.
That was good to see. That was good.
He
to
was
see
zigging
Renfro
and
back.
zagging, man. He was zigging and zagging and wagging. I like
34
it.
points. I mean, 30. If you can score 34 points, I mean, like breaking 30 is huge in today's NFL, and you almost have to do it. There's a lot of shootouts. About half your games are going to be shootouts like that. So.
Well, you look at the scores yesterday just throughout the league. I mean, there were some high-scoring games and a lot of yardage, man.
Aaron Rodgers.
Rodgers, Minnesota,
Russell
Seahawks,
West,
Falcons. Those are high-scoring games.
Yeah, definitely. Well, we talked about. I know we texted about the snap counts, and I'm gonna peel back a little bit of my criticism of because I am not gonna lie and say I don't really enjoy watching Foster Moreau play, and I like him in the red zone especially. So when they threw that 2-yard pass to Witten, that drove me crazy because I feel like just put him in the game. But maybe in this game without Trent Brown, they felt like they needed to go a little bit more heavy. So that's the only thing I'm only gonna attribute Witten's getting more snaps than Moreau. But it did irk me throughout the game to just not to see that, especially in the red zone. But they did score a lot of points. So, but as far as that goes, anything else on the ugly side that you guys want to talk about?
Yeah, I'll just speak on that a little. Well, ugly side, we go a long ways, but for me, absolutely, I thought Witten. I don't even look at him as a tight end. He's an offensive lineman. He's a blocker, and he knows assignment detail. He's a disciplinarian. He's a veteran leader. That's what he's there for. That's his role. He is literally the Lee Smith role that we used to have, pretty much.
Yeah, perfect comparison.
But Moreau, yeah, we may have a game where Moreau might be something we'd look into a little bit more snap heavy in the red zone because maybe potentially we're having a tough time running against a better front or something. I don't know, but still a little frustrating. But I'm like you said, 34 points on the board. What are we saying? We should have had 42. We should have 45. I mean,
exactly.
34 points. You didn't have a real preseason. You didn't have anything on deck. You're on the road. There's no fans in the crowd. I mean, it's weird. So 34 is good. The biggest bad thing I want to point out is Carl Nassib. Okay, let me talk about that. Let me talk. Do you guys know? I may have texted you guys. I don't know if I did. I probably did. But do you guys know how many snaps he had on defense?
Yes, I do. I can actually look it up right here.
It's like 40 something, right?
No.
What was it?
No.
He had 20.
20 snaps. Do you know what we paid this man? I mean, we could have gotten Everson Griffin. We could have gotten. There's so many. I'm not saying. Again, it could be a schematical thing, right? But Cleveland Farrell had 58 snaps. I'm just saying we paid a lot of money for Nassib, And I was expecting like, hey, I honestly was not like the biggest, hey, he's about a 6-sack guy, but hey, maybe we see something. And then he's not even on the field, and we're not even getting much pressure on the quarterback. So
And then
that's frightening.
and the missed tackle on the goal line really bothered me. I mean, you
Oh,
can't. Yeah,
no,
you got to wrap up. You cannot just try to big hit or hit
Yeah,
stick.
yeah,
Yeah,
terrible.
McCaffrey.
McCaffrey. That's just ridiculous.
Yeah,
You gotta finish it.
so that bothered me because we shelled out a lot of money for this guy, and with the pass rush not looking too great yesterday, that bothered me. I'd say the other thing that bothered me, um, Arnett. I know a lot of people are like, oh well, his hand was hurt at Ohio State, and he played well with the cast, so he'll be fine. Few times, I mean, you got to wrap up and tackle. I understand your arm hurts, your hand hurts, but if you can't form tackle, we're playing the Saints, man, and they have some talented Kamara. They're gonna find matchups against you if you're gonna put that on film. But yeah, for me, number one, Carl Nassib and the struggling pass rush. I don't know what's going on with the defensive line.
Yeah.
Gosh,
Sorry, go ahead. No. I'll bow out. Go ahead, man.
blue chip versus how do I say it? Blue chip versus blue collar, and they went with blue collar, and I felt like, and then you heard, I think Rich Gann did the game yesterday, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so Rich Gannon pointed out immediately that on that play where they did the out and up, and they got Damon Arnett
Yeah.
to bite on
Bite.
that play.
Yeah.
If Eric Harris
Oh yeah.
just looks at the football, it's an easy interception.
Oh yeah. I
It's,
was like,
what are you doing? Like, I mean, because that ball by Bridgewater should have been thrown up the field and not to the inside. What's that ball to the inside? Like,
oh, it should have been pick
I mean,
six.
it should have been a pick. Should have been a pick. Not to mention the pick that Morrow should have had. Not to mention the pick that
Joiner.
Joyner. But Joyner did play well yesterday. The slot. I didn't hear nothing from the slot yesterday.
Right.
So
Right.
so I so
Credit due.
yeah, so credit due. So I mean, he's a guy who takes a lot of heat. I gotta give him credit when he plays well. But that is like, to me, I feel like, you got to make that play. I mean, they chose you to be the starter. There is no question about it. You got to be able to make that play. I mean, because I mean, if not, I mean, I don't have time. I don't got time. I think we have decent linebackers now. I'm done with bad safety play. And I don't, I don't want to see it. You're here, so let's get it done. You quote unquote know the scheme,
That's
so
great.
so let me see you perform it, because you should have been in that spot to just. I mean, you could have like fair caught that duck that Bridgewater threw.
Yeah. At least,
That wasn't a great pass.
at least bat it down. I mean, like,
Yeah,
and then the way the angle he took was
horrible.
up the field. I mean, he was underneath behind him extending an arm, and I was thinking, like, you had plenty of time to decipher how to approach that
No.
tackle. And okay, maybe he wasn't looking, so he lost sight of the ball. The wide receiver's right in front of you. You ran past him,
Well, there
so
is a free safety. There is a free safety on the market who does know how to look for the football. He looks.
yeah.
Unfortunately, he looks for other things. But I'm just saying. I mean,
That's all I was thinking about. No, when you look
Yeah.
at Eric Harris, I'm thinking like, man, these guys need to make a major move here on Monday, Tuesday, and call up Earl Thomas and bring him in. Now I get it. Got character issues. Um,
They may have
yeah,
to. Yeah.
I think you got to bring in somebody there in the back end. Those guys are too young.
who's the stud on this defense? That's the question I have. Like, who is the stud on this defense?
I got to go with number 42, man. Littleton. I think Littleton was all over the place, other than Abram, the obvious. But I thought you could
Abram could be that one. He could, if he keeps playing the way he's playing, he
Yeah.
could get there.
Littleton really showed up yesterday too. That
He can
last
run,
play.
man. God, he
I
can
saw him
run.
blitz. He looked fast.
Yeah,
He
he
can
was
run.
in there with
He can run.
Farrell. He was in there with Farrell on that stop with the fullback there, which was a bogus call. I don't understand. That was really ugly. I don't know why they didn't go back to McCaffrey there.
Can I say one thing about oh, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, like Littleton, I thought earned his free agency there. Malik, we hear all this stuff about Malik Collins. I didn't see
Yeah,
Malik
kind
Collins.
of a
I thought
quiet
that was kind
day.
of a dud
Yep.
for me. Mo Hurst got I think they split half a sack with. I forgot who else got the other half of that sack there, but they didn't give it to all the way to Mo Hurst. But yeah, I mean, Abram was all over the place. I mean, wow. I loved it. 24 and 28 yesterday were the players of the game.
Yeah, I mean, the way I look at it with Abram is just that, we were talking about it before, like he's the box safety and this and that, and he's not about. Do people understand how many snaps he took yesterday at free safety? He
Oh,
played free.
Every play. I think he played every
He
defensive
played a
snap.
lot of free safety.
he played great yesterday.
So that shows that if they think he's fast enough and has a good enough prowess in deciphering the passing game, I'm just so. I mean, I highlighted him this year. I thought he was going to be that, but the way he came downhill to make tackles, it was humid. It was hot in North Carolina. Like it was. You seen players hands on the hips in the fourth quarter. The
Yeah.
only guy I didn't was Abram. He was get it, let's go. I
Yeah.
seen him pumping up Mullen when he deflected that pass in the end zone. Like he wanted it. And not mind you, the play we just talked about, Robbie Anderson with that slick double move on Arnett. He gets caught with the flag. Eric Harris blows the potential interception, bat down tackle. Who tackles Robbie Anderson that play when he's 30 yards off a screen? Abram busted his ass. He could have jogged up and kicked up his heels, and that's 6. He tackled him the step he came in the end zone and tried to rake that ball. And those are the kind of guys. Colton did that before. Remember his rookie year chasing down an interception.
Yeah.
Like it just gave me, like, when I looked at that, I was like, okay, he's a pit bull, man. He wants to play. He wants to hit you. And I just thought 13 tackles, 1 tackle for loss. Again, playing some free, playing some strong. I think his role will get better if the front seven starts to find a little bit more of a gel with the pass.
Can he
rushing
play
stuff.
free in the pro level?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Why can't he not?
Because I'm thinking if 25 can't get it done, I mean I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm not gonna have patience. I'm not gonna have patience for certain things anymore, and that's one of them. I
mean, if that's what it comes to, if schematically we're able to do something a little different with how we want to look at the strong safety in Gunther's scheme, which don't really want to talk about Gunther's scheme too much, but
we have to though.
We will. We'll get there. But I feel like Abram, just what he put on film yesterday, like he covers sideline to sideline and he tackles and he hits. And with Littleton, like, and Katowski, he's probably going to be out a couple weeks and stuff like that. But eventually, as this young defense gets together, I don't care. Just play him where he's shown he can do it. And
Very Troy Polamalu-ish, just go ahead, go out there.
Everywhere. Just be he's everywhere.
That's a good point. I mean, Troy was like so unorthodox. He'd jump over the snaps. He didn't even have a position. They were just like, all right.
Just go out there and make a play, and that's it. He wants to get dirty. He wants to get hit. He wants to, you saw him, John, with McCaffrey the whole game. And he is a dog, and that's what we want on this team. Is we want a superstar dog, and we didn't get to see it last year, and this is the year we need it. And I do think I still on board with bringing in Earl Thomas. I think that he could learn from somebody.
1-year deal, prove it.
1-year deal, prove it. Stay out of trouble, and go out there and knock some heads in. I mean, with Damon Arnett and Tyvon. Trayvon. I mean, that's young right there, man. You got to have somebody in the back end. And Eric Harris is, God bless him. He's good, but I don't think he's like the man back there until Abram is the man. I think Abram's going to become the alpha in that backcourt there. But very exciting to see. He picked up right where he left off back in game 1 last season. But he's got the mentality. He's got the blonde hair. Did you guys see that? Simon
I did see that.
look?
Yep.
He came to play, and I dig it.
Yeah, the Cover 3 Deep Raiders podcast. You can reach us at Cover 3 Deep on Twitter and Instagram. So I love Trayvon 2.7. I love you, but when the fullback is still fighting for yards, get your head down. Get in there, brother. Get in there, brother, because he almost got the first down while Trayvon was like kind of like cheering because he thought the play was over. So
stopped,
he thought it was over. So please do that. You know who else got a sack yesterday? Benson Mayo. Just saying.
Oh God, yeah, somewhere else. Yeah, I was thinking that, man. I mean,
he cost hardly nothing. He cost absolutely nothing. The Raiders playing with a lead. That is Gruden. One of his pet peeves. I mean, at 27-15, I believe, right? The number one thing that teams do all the time, and this is a number one thing, when teams get down by 2 scores, their next drive, the first thing they do run the football. Like they're gonna go back to the beginning of the game. Let's start the run. Let's not get too far behind the sticks. Let's try to create a third and short so we can keep the drive going. And to me, like you gotta get a stop there in that in that spot. They're not gonna go air Coryell and go four wides and throwing the ball down the field. At some point, Gunther, when you're sitting here as the Giants are driving against the Steelers on the corner of my eye, let's go Giants. We need all AFC teams to lose. Um, Gunther, when you have a team that's going to go short, 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 short all the time, you have to be able to at some point in those drives to jump some of those routes
Yep.
because they're just going to dink and dunk, and then when they get to the goal line area, McCaffrey's gonna give it to one of the best players in the world, and they're gonna score. I thought they did a good job against McCaffrey. I've sat and watched the Jamal Charles games. I've seen some horrible games against scatbacks like that. I thought they did a pretty good job against them, except in the red zone. I don't know what your thoughts about Gunther, but my biggest pet peeve is like when it's third and 8, don't have your linebackers drop to 10 yards. Like the wide receiver just gonna sit in the middle and get the first down and go down. It's just and the dick and dunk that cuts you slow drives me crazy.
Yeah, I'm gonna jump in real quick on the Gunther thing. I'd love to see some more like safety blitzes too. There's no pressure at all. I thought Bridgewater looked very comfortable in the back. He picked apart the defense, picked apart the secondary. Granted that these guys are young. Robbie Anderson is really fast, and the other wide receiver on the other side there, I forgot his name, but that's some good wide receiver action there, and I just didn't feel like he was uncomfortable at all. The defensive end play, I hear that Furl jumped inside, outside, inside, outside. Just pick a position, man. If you draft him as a defensive end, play him at defensive end, let him work. We saw what he did towards the end of the season last year.
If it works at tackle, put him at goddamn tackle.
Yeah, it's all. I mean, you have Malik Collins, you have Mo Hurst, you have Hankins. Just play your defensive tackles and let them eat up in the middle, and then your defensive end. I didn't understand that at all. I thought the linebacker play was solid. Obviously, what's his face got hurt there, Kotowski, and Morrow had to jump in there, and I mean, I know he's fast and he's athletic, and I didn't understand why he was covering McCaffrey one-on-one with no safety help there. That was kind of confusing. But
That drop pick was huge.
yeah, right. But like I said, I thought Littleton played well. Littleton was all over the place. Abram was all over the place. And just to contradict what Sean was saying about Damon Arnett, I thought he played okay. I thought he was okay. I mean, he bit on one route. He did get mixed up a little bit in some tackles, but yeah, he could have made some better plays. But I thought overall for a rookie, against it was DJ Moore is the other wide receiver there.
Yes.
He played pretty well. I thought he contained him for the most part. I have no problem with it. I had no problem with it. But I know the defense is going to get better. The offense is going to have to carry this game through the next 3 or 4 games here. But I think the real test comes next week. Out of all the games until we play Kansas City, the Saints are going to be they're stacked all sides of the ball, all three phases.
Yeah, that's a good team. I think like when you talk about Arnett too, like I was tough on him, but if you guys know Chris Reed, NFL, he breaks down a lot of Raider film. The play where Arnett got beat, it was a six-man pressure blitz. So we brought the house. So the ball's supposed to come out quick when you blitz, right?
Yeah.
So Arnett jumped that first move, which is great because if Teddy had thrown the quick, but he bumped out of it, and that's why he knew he got beat, and he tried to grab him to withhold the touchdown. So those things happen. He'll look at it in film and he'll understand it. He'll know next time, okay, we're bringing a six-man pressure, but I got to give a little bit more of a cushion before I see that ball come out, before I jump it. This isn't Ohio State, right?
Yeah.
Is a better team. Overall, I thought like with Gunther's defense, yes, if you're not getting good pressures, pass rushing, you can't also float people back. It's just a recipe for disaster. And a quarterback like Teddy, you're just giving him comfortable rhythm throws. I mean, some of those throws he's making, I was like, man, I could do that. Like we're not challenging him enough, right? And a little concerning. It may have been the game plan because we didn't know what Carolina was because they had so many new players and things and new coaches and new scheme. But it's a little troublesome because I know we're gonna get to it in a minute, as Ken said. Guess what? Drew Brees and Sean Payton, looking at our film from Sunday, are they're excited. they're excited to see some of the communication issues and things, and they're gonna find ways to attack us. So Gunther, whatever happened, we sealed the game, we won it, we got out of there, we survived. Let's just be honest. Like defensively, we survived. We gave 30 points to a brand new head coach and a rebuild and a brand new free agency quarterback. But it's gonna have to significantly improve, like Ken said, and I think it will. Like we got to start pushing down mid-season toward middle of the pack.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing here. So we'll take a quick break, and then we're going to come right back, and we're going to talk about previewing the Saints. I mean, that's going to be the big task here for the Raiders here in the first game in Las Vegas here on the Cover 3 Deep Raiders podcast. Back on the Cover 3D Raiders podcast, Dwayne Douglas, Sean Oahu, Raider, and Monster Mash Ken out here chilling. Talking about the Raiders after a victory. It's always good. Victory Monday is always good. You celebrate Sunday, Monday, and then you get serious about who you're going to play the next time. And it's going to be the Saints. It's not going to be easy. It's going to be Sean Payton. It's going to be Taysom Hill. It's going to be all the gadgetry, if you will, that is Saints football. So thoughts about that? I think when you play the Saints, it's simple, but it's really complex at the same time. They're about the screens and the seams. Like they will screen you to death. They will hit the seams passes with the tight end to death. They will do that all day and all night against you. And I think what you have to do for the Raiders here is just make sure that Sean Payton takes you seriously. So, because what he's going to do in this game is he's going to challenge the Raiders early, on a 4th and 7, maybe at the 50-yard line, and say, "We're playing the Raiders. I don't care. We're beating this team whether Michael Thomas plays or not, right? Whether Michael Thomas is alive or not." Right?
I don't wish death upon it.
I know. I'm not joking. But you have to be able to get a stop and take them seriously. I think the best way to have them take you seriously is get out to this is a game where I might say get the ball first. Get the ball first. Take an 8-minute drive. Put it in the end zone. Let them know that they're playing an actual NFL team and they're not playing those Raider teams from the past, Ken.
No, I agree. The one other game that I wouldn't say excited to watch, but anxious to watch was the Tampa Bay New Orleans game yesterday. Obviously, they're both early on our schedule. New Orleans has always been a consistently good team since the Baghead days, and I think we took Aaron Brooks, and then they got better after that or something like that. But I like Drew Brees a lot. I think Drew Brees is very underrated quarterback. He's consistently good. He's got good players around him. That defense looked sharp yesterday, man. They were flying everywhere, and that's one thing that scares me that we don't have is half of our defensive squad, if not most of it, is new, and they're all playing next to each other. Some guy next to you don't even know, you just barely met. The offense, on the other hand, I think we're okay. I think this game's going to be a high-scoring game. I don't think Drew Brees is going to be rattled by us at all. I don't think that we're going to slow down that offense, to tell you the truth. I just feel like with the crowd factor there, a few weeks ago or months ago when we didn't know what's going to happen, I said they were going to win this game. Now I'm not so sure, and I think the Raiders will win everything in my mind any given Sunday. But it's going to be a little bit harder with no crowd, no excitement, no juice, no electricity there. When you get this weird fan radio thing going in the back there, which is so random. I think that Michael Thomas is going to eat. Kamara's going to do his thing. So it's going to be up to the offense to really show up.
Latavius.
And Jared Cook. They're going to show out. And I don't know what the game plan is on Gunther, but I know all eyes are on Gunther right now. And I hope I'm wrong. I hope the Raiders go in there and sock them right in the nuts, man. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I think if you look at Drew, he's such a polished passer of assignment football and finding where the easy throws are and or setting up the throw to go down the field. If you look every year, he has like 4 games where he's just bad. I mean, like he's had them. I mean, they are there. I know this. Like I've watched games where he's thrown for like 180 and like never done anything. And it's not always against a great team or defense. Sometimes he just has those struggles. So I think we have to find some way to get him out of rhythm. Doesn't look like it might be the pass rush, but if Michael Thomas, even if he plays and he's limited or, you know, he's humped up a little, we need to just pressure. We need to clamp down a little bit in the line of scrimmage, in my opinion, and just play, hey, we have nothing to lose in this matchup. It's an NFC opponent. It's not an AFC opponent. We're already 1-0 against another NFC squad. Just play a little bit more physical, a little bit more challenge and contest up front. And guess what? The biggest thing in this game to me is Alvin Kamara. I'm not even worried about Drew Brees. The way Kamara sometimes can get 8 to 11 catches and just get 7 and get 8 and get 6 and get 7 and get 8. And it's just the rhythm that he creates when Brees can't find any other outlet. It's scary. And that's what you said, Dwayne. Like, then it's like, okay, Jared Cook down the seams, 35 yards. No one's even around him because all our linebackers are like, where the hell is Kamara? Because that guy is just lickety-split talented and he catches the ball so fluid. So it's going to be an interesting matchup for Gunther. We just kind of have to go, if anything, like I said, we may surrender the yards and the points, but if we can just get a couple timely turnovers, a strip sack, a tip ball interception.
Holding the field goals a couple times. That could be a difference maker, at least on that side of the ball. As far as our offense, we'll probably get that a little bit later, but I think it's a whole different challenge. But yeah,
I could foresee like us a recycle from that crazy win we had with Crabtree making the 2-point. I think it's going to be the same kind of game, to tell you the truth.
I mean, as long as it ends the same, I don't care who catches it.
Heart attack weeks in a row. Why not?
Whoever catches it that way, I don't really care. One thing that I don't understand about NFL football is like, you know, everybody's supposed to be big and tough and strong and all this stuff like that. When Taysom Hill comes into the game and they flank out Drew Brees and there is a safety in front of Drew Brees, can somebody explain to me why somebody doesn't knock the shit out of Drew Brees for being a wide receiver on that play?
That's a really good point, man.
Is there like a gentleman's agreement? Like, I'm just saying because he's a. I'm sorry, I'm not a gentleman. I mean, I play one on TV though, but I'm not a gentleman. Like, so like if I'm a football coach and you are sitting there and you want to have Drew Brees as a wide receiver, I'm gonna have Abrams sit right over the top saying, I'm gonna make sure when you bring Taysom Hill in the game, you better put Winston over there because I'm going to pound the hell out of because at that point he is a wide receiver.
He is.
I'm sorry.
And it's funny, and you notice that, and I think it is, like you said, Dwayne, I think it's people like, hey, if it's Tom Brady, if it's Drew Brees, if it's these established, old, better, any quarterback, really. Unless you're like Baker Mayfield, where everyone's like, oh, we hate you. Honestly, I agree with what you're saying. It's kind of like, I don't know, when we used to play, like, when people field the punt, and the punt hits the ground, no one catches it, and the ball's just sitting there, right? And you're waiting for the ref to either blow the whistle or someone come up and touch the ball. Mm-hmm. Live play. You can go up and bomb people that are just staring at the ground looking at the ball.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
people don't do it often because it's like, hey, that's a cheap shot. But at the same time, man, I don't want Breeze jogging out there with his Wrangler jeans on thinking he can just,
I do.
No, I don't care.
I'm sorry.
Hey,
I'm
what,
sorry.
Though? Who will agree with you on our defense? We've talked about him a lot.
Oh, Abram.
Abram's going to be like, even if Gruden told him don't do that, Abrams gonna at least jab.
Why are we not doing that?
Yeah.
Like, why do teams not do that? I don't understand that. He is a wide receiver on that play. He needs to get knocked out.
And some teams
take us off the field if you don't want that to happen.
take out the kicker, right? Like on a kickoff, some college teams will put a person. You take out the last line of defense. He's weak. Just take him out. Crack. They put him
You,
out.
you don't even need to hit them that hard. They're not used to getting hit. And going back to what Gruden will tell Abram, don't do that, but wink, wink.
I don't know. I don't think
God.
Abram. I think Abram. We saw it in Hard Knocks. We've seen his style. I don't think he's the guy anyone can really calm down. I think in his own mind he'll have to learn. I think there's going to be some times this year where he absolutely goes in on people, whether it's going to cost us some flags or scuffles. But me personally, I'm all for it. He's the best thing we have on defense until everything else emerges. So bring it.
Yeah,
And I hope he comes. Hey, you know what? And Taysom Hill, like you said, those gadget plays and stuff. I would tell Abram, you're a missile. Hit that guy.
Please,
hit that guy. So Sean Payton goes, all right.
Make him pass the ball.
So Sean Payton looks at his play sheet. He's like, all right, Taysom's not going back on the field the rest of the game. Let's just
like seriously. I don't know.
I agree, man.
Drives me crazy, man. I see cornerback just stand there and don't do nothing, and I'm like, dude, you play the whole game, hit the quarterback, and you have a free shot at the quarterback, and you don't take it. Drives me absolutely crazy. Offensively, do you try to do the ball control like the Giants versus the Jim Kelly and his Rubel, or do you just say, or you just open it up and say, Derek, dude, this is your time, dude. Like we'll mix it up between running and 4 wide receiver, but we gotta throw it all over the place.
I have a hard time with this. I think what you said is balance. We were pretty balanced in the opener.
Yeah.
You
stay with that.
I think you have to, but I'll tell you what I want to see a little bit differently. Waller was looking good in the first half, went away. Renfro had a nice couple plays. I was getting real excited that we're about to get him working, went away. Also, Bryan Edwards had like 49 snaps, but he had 1 target, 1 catch for 9 yards. So maybe they're holding it close to chest a little bit. So I would like to see 4 wide and put Bryan Edwards in the slot and Ruggs out opposite on the other side. And just see, but because the Saints corners are really did you guys see Mike Evans? He could not get open.
Shut out. Yeah, he got shut out.
That's Mike Evans. I mean, I'm not saying we don't have nice, quick guys, but Mike Evans is an established star wide receiver, top 5 in this league.
So is Godwin.
And it don't even matter. It don't even matter quarterback. He still produces, and
they were getting under his skin, though.
They were big time, and they'll do the same to our guys. So Gruden's got to be. I think I would like to see a little bit more misdirection, because I think the Saints are going to say, we're going to cut the head, take away Josh Jacobs, and then pressure Carr.
And don't forget the 2 coaches, Todd Bowles and Dennis Allen, who like to they don't play conventional defense. They want to blitz and do all kind of crazy stuff. So if you catch him in those plays, you can get big plays out of those. Ken.
And Carr actually in his career is good at that. So
I'm not worried about Carr. I think you got it right. You play 4 wide. You get Jacobs involved more. I can see Jacobs having like 7 catches this game. I really think it could happen. Maybe there's like 10 or 12 catches with the running back core altogether, even with Ingold included there. A lot of underneath passes. I think you pick up that same game plan where you had Ruggs, you get Ruggs going, throwing some gadget plays there. But I agree. I think the defense is going to come in hot, and they're going to come after Carr. But Carr's really good about getting the ball out, and it's going to be some underneath stuff going on. And I'm not worried about the offense. I really think that Gruden's got it. He's got these weapons. Carr's got these weapons, and we saw it. I'd love to see Edwards get involved more. I agree with you, Sean. I was getting excited to see Renfro get some plays called, his number called. And Waller was Mr. Third Down yesterday. Maybe we'll get to see Renfro go back to 3rd and Renfro. But you know what? I just want to see the offense continue
to do what they do. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, build and do not take a step back, because we did that a couple times where the offense looks like they got the ball going, then they'll put a zero burger up or something in a couple quarters.
Yeah.
We scored every quarter last game. It's got to be the same.
Beautiful.
It was.
That was, and they scored in the 3rd quarter, Sean.
Yeah. And what I thought was, you're right, finally breaking the 3rd quarter curse from last year. That was big, but I thought for me, It was interesting, right? Like the first possession, we went 3 and out. I was like, normally Guden's got his so it was a little bit like up in the air. So I don't know. Maybe we try to go for the hot start at home, like you say, receive the ball. But regardless, I think if we're like around the 28 to 34 point scoring margin, we're going to be within a big play of winning.
What? Yeah,
So
exactly.
if we do that, that's the offense. I'm not even saying the defense anything. I'm just saying if the offense just says, hey, Gruden, here's your play sheet. Call your best plays, pick your parts. Let's try to get 7.25 and maybe a field goal. And then guess what? We're going to be around those 28, 30 points. And if we get lucky, we get ball bounces the wrong way, a tip pass or something, it's ours to take. But I think we're the underdogs, but I believe this team has the talent. They just really need to like mold the pieces on defense to help the offense a little bit more.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, what you have to avoid is what the Buccaneers couldn't avoid was the turnovers in your own end, because that's where Sean Payton is going to eat. That's where Kamara. I mean, you can't overcome those. So you protect the quarterback like you've been doing, and do whatever you can to just not turn the ball over. Still, you can be aggressive without turning the ball over, and they just have to keep doing it.
No, I think the difference though, Brady is obviously coming in to a team that he's still getting used to. Their running game was working. They had a good the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They had a good running game going. Their defense was really good. Devin White was making some plays there.
Oh, yeah.
There were some plays.
They got athletes on that defense, no
Yeah,
question.
they do, and that's what was scaring me more than the offense. Brady, I just feel like he's lost a step for sure. I mean, he threw in some accurate passes, but then he threw some really weird ones at the same time. So that's why I'm not too concerned with the offense. Let the defense come and blitz. And I think Carr, has these weapons where he can throw 4-yard passes and they'll turn into 8 to 10 yards. So let it come, let it rip. It's just the defensive side of the ball that's really got me worried here. Can they make the crucial stops? Dwayne, I think you said it. We got to get some kind of turnovers here.
Early.
Yeah. And I think that's gonna determine the game. Maybe I'll mark it here. Whoever wins the turnover battle wins the game.
Yeah.
You could go down the NFL every week.
Yeah.
That's
Who do you? I mean,
This game more or
any
less.
football.
And
Yeah.
it's gonna be a
Yeah.
high-scoring game, but I still feel like
absolutely.
the Raiders need to get at least +2 on these guys.
do you just go out there and just say you're gonna win this game without Kamara? If you're Gunther, like I'm gonna make it so like you can't do nothing with Kamara.
That's hard though.
Or do they move him around way too much for that to be possible?
I think it's a little bit of that, but this is me. I felt like this. I feel it's a little bit of the same of what happened in week 1. Like I feel like if you saw Littleton blitz the couple times he did, he comes fast. He comes wide. I mean,
Just missed a sack. Yeah, he could play.
Just missed. I mean, really quick. So I think it's hard to dial up his number to blitz as much when you have to account for he's probably our quickest linebacker that can cover CMC. And now he's got the same thing with Kamara minus Kwiatkowski probably won't even be playing. So it's hard because I would like to dial up Littleton a lot more at the quarterback, being that we had so much lack of pass rush. Again, like it's tough. You look like Arden Key and Mo Hurst like had more pressures and they had like 20-something snaps, and then you had Cleveland and all these other guys. We got to figure something out there, man. I don't care where it comes from.
I was saying when you dropped off, yeah. I think you dropped off for a second. I was telling, I think I was saying to Ken, like if he's really good inside Cleveland, leave him there.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, because I think an edge rusher is a gift, and like if you don't have the gift to edge rush, then don't sit there and try to make somebody into an edge rusher because he's not. If he's really good on inside, like the last play of the game, listen, I give him credit. Like he blew that play up. Good for him. They did a great job. I mean, I think if they pitched it to McCaffrey on that play, it would have been him and Trayvon Mullen on the outside, and that would have been. I love Trayvon, but I'm not sure if he would have been able to make that tackle. So to me, I mean, if he's inside and he's doing good, then just keep rotating the other side. And if he's winning, if his win rate is that high, keep it going. Keep it going. Just makes it to me, it just makes more sense to do that. Then you can kind of, I mean, you're never going to justify the pick. I mean, Josh Allen,
No way.
he should have been the pick, and this defense, he probably would have 10, 11 sacks a year. As far as that
Well,
goes.
before we jump the gun on that, though, I will say this though. Like I said earlier, if he continues what he did at the end of last season, and he continues it this season, but that's going to be up to Gunther and Marinelli. They got to put him in position to win these
Yeah.
battles. I think he's a really good defensive end. I just don't think he's that good of an interior pass rusher inside. I just don't think it is. And if you are, then yeah, then Josh Allen or the other guy that who was the other defensive tackle there that they should have? It doesn't matter. They should have took a defensive tackle if you're looking for a defensive tackle. You took a defensive end because he needed a defensive end. He was the best available, in my opinion, based off the college performance that he had. I think that there's still a lot of games to be played, but he's got to be put in the right position to play him. He's put on some weight. Crosby's put on some weight. They complement each other well. I want to see salt and pepper back, man. Give me extra salt and pepper on that sub sandwich.
Yeah. Question is like we talk about put on weight, put on weight, put on weight, but was it's only one game, but like was Crosby maybe better without having? Because I mean, because there's been a lot of really
Yes.
there've been a lot of really sleekly built pass rushers. Like like Derek Burgess was not a huge defensive end, but damn it, that dude was in the backfield every 5 seconds. Get sacking the quarterback. So maybe that was a mistake. I mean, I'm not. I'm listening. It's only one game. If he has 4 sacks against Drew Brees and that offensive line, then we're gonna say something totally different, right? But I wonder if that's like more of a not everybody has to be that big hulking dude. You have to. I mean, quickness is part of the game, right?
I
I
don't
didn't
think
think that.
I don't think he gained that much weight. I think it's more muscle. I think he's still pretty slimmed down. He looks pretty good. He almost got home a couple times there. And he gets one sack. We're not having this conversation. He was disruptive. He had some tackles for loss. He was in the backfield a lot. I thought that Crosby played well. I'm not too upset about it. He just didn't get home, and that's not entirely his fault. I mean, he was close. They missed a call. It was blatant holding. You guys saw it. Everybody saw it. He
That was
put his hand up
ridiculous.
like,
That
"What are
was
you doing?"
embarrassing.
And
I couldn't
he
believe,
gets a sack.
even
Then
for
what?
Raiders standards.
Yeah, I mean,
Jeez
he
Louise,
gets.
dude.
Let me ask you though. I want to put it back on you guys. If he gets that sack, are we talking about him right now about his weight? I don't think so.
I mean,
Maybe still,
I'm personally, I can let Crosby, I can give Crosby a season. He did enough last year where I can just say Crosby or whatever. I just think with Cleveland, I don't have a problem even if he's not worthy of that fourth pick. If he is a functional starter and he is a above average run stopper and with occasional pressure up the middle, I can actually live with that because the person he is in the locker room, like I can deal. You can hopefully maybe draft somebody else to be on the outside and admit that maybe he's because he does a good job on the inside. But if he's not going to be what you want on the outside, I don't want to waste those snaps with him on the outside
And
when
that
when you have Arden Key, when you have
Sib, we don't know what we have with
yeah,
Clark.
I mean, maybe it's a 3rd and 11 where you can have Littleton come off the edge, stuff like that. Like
Please.
I don't care who gets the pressure. I am let whoever can get to the quarterback get to the quarterback. That's just my thing, and we'll see what happens as far as that goes. But I mean, he can't be find a spot for him. And then if he's really good at one spot, just leave him there. In my opinion.
And I think what they're still doing is justifying the pick. I mean, how does he have a snap count of 58 and Carl Nassib has 20 in a game where you're not getting pressure? We had, according to PFF, we had 10 pressures. I don't know. Teddy did do a good job of stepping up when the pressure came out wide and
did,
completing
yeah.
passes. And he did. I mean, he's athletic. He
Well,
uses
give me a
legs.
delayed blitz right there, then, so
Thank you.
so you can blow his ass up when he tries to come to. I'm
Well,
cursing a lot today, but
You're right.
yeah, but blow him up on that play, you know.
You're right. But okay. We don't have time for experiments like
Not this week. Not this week.
Well, not this
Well,
week.
not any week now. That first
Not
game.
this season. I mean, it's year 3 Gruden and Carr. I mean, you guys, we have to make playoffs. If you don't make the playoffs, people are going to question everything top to bottom. Maybe that's not the best way to look at it, but Cleveland, man, you're right, Dwayne. Pick a spot and let him go there and just
Go
develop and
there.
just
Yeah,
move
yeah.
on. And if
I got no
other
problem with
people
it.
and run back the film from Carolina, and if other people look better on the edge, great. Because I saw Furrow get sucked in twice terribly. One when Teddy took off and run, another run outside, and he just got pinned inside by a one-handed push from a tight end, and he was trying to do some spin move
He
or something
smacked that away.
Maybe.
like he's Dwight Freeney or something. It's like, bro,
I got to rewind here for a second, and I might have gotten a little heated with. Were you guys talking about Crosby adding the weight or Furl in the beginning?
no,
Because I was thinking
Crosby. I thought, yeah,
Crosby.
He
we were on
Crosby had to
Crosby.
wait. Yeah,
Okay,
We were
I
on
because
didn't.
Crosby.
Yeah.
Furl and Sean, like because you walked away, I did say that, and Dwayne, we're regurgitating this here, but put him as defensive end, leave him there. He ate at the later part of the season last year, so I just it's got to happen. There's a lot of new faces on defense. All eyes are on Gunther right now. Marinelli's got to show out too. This week. We need this win. We need to win in our home.
Next
For the
four,
first game.
next four games. I mean, like everybody talks about them being 2-3 going into the bye week. If they're going to be a playoff team, I
2 and 3.
you got to be. I feel like you go 500 against these next four games, and then you're 3-2 going into the bye week, and you're feeling good about yourself. I wish I could have flipped these two games. I would love to play Brady early, and then play Drew Brees a little bit later. You know what I mean? Because I think Brady might be all figured out by the time by the time we get him as far as that goes. AFC West. The Bengal. I mean, we were fortunate to win. And I think obviously the Bengal. I mean, the Chargers were fortunate to win as well. Which was really crazy. The Chiefs, they do what they do. We know that. And then the Broncos play later tonight. So it could be everybody in the division be 1-0 if the Broncos win, which is tells you that the division is going to be maybe improved as far as that goes. I'm looking around the league real quick. Do you feel a little bit better, like maybe if about like maybe like the trip to Atlanta might not be as daunting as a task, because they could be, let's be honest, like they could be dumping salary by the time, because if they're not good this year, that coach is out. Like, Matt Ryan is, who knows what's going to happen there. Like, I mean, like, it's a long way to go, but I'm just saying, just the optics of their loss. They give a lot of points to Seattle.
No, I would look at their schedule. I think that these next four games are going to be really tough, and then you get like kind of a mediocre teams from historically, and then kind of the way they played yesterday. I think this team is looking like a 9-7 team, 8-8 right now. I know earlier I said it was 10 wins. And I'm purely basing this off the defensive play yesterday. If the defense showed up yesterday, I would think that they win a lot more games. But the fact that they played so poorly, I just don't think we're going to. We didn't play complementary football yesterday. We played complementary offense. We had very, 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 very even offense there yesterday. Both sides produced, but the defense was just not good enough. And a team like an unknown Carolina Panthers team. Granted that McCaffrey's going to eat. He's going to do his damage no matter who he plays. But Bridgewater throwing 250 plus, it's unacceptable. No sacks, that's unacceptable. No turnovers, it's unacceptable. Um, I just don't know if the Raiders if they can sustain and win 2 or 3 games going into the bye weeks. I think we'll be
Two and
okay.
two, 2-2 next four.
2-2, we're okay. But it's going to be tough. If they drop this Saints game, man, I don't know. They're going to have to find a way. Abram is going to have to. He's going to have to inspire everybody on all sides of the field here, because it's going to be tough, and they got a lot of tough games coming up.
Sean, question for you
Yes,
about
sir.
Gunther here. Is he one of these guys who's just gonna sit there and play his style, or is he ever going to? I mean, adjust? He's gonna stay to his style, right?
I think he is. I mean, he kept Joyner in the slot. The only thing I like that he let Abram kind of flex around the safety positions, but he's going to do what he's going to do. He believes in the only system he's done, and he's employing it. I mean, you were getting beat. You had a double-digit lead, and it was clear, like, there was – and let's not be – if we're honest, like, I think there was about 3 critical drops. The Panthers dropped some balls. Like, they could have eaten a little bit more. I know DJ Moore had, I believe, 2 of them, but I was pretty surprised on that token. But Gunther needs to employ some kind of multiple defensive look, something a little bit more exotic, because people are going to see what he's putting out on film, and they're just going to take the fundamental routes that they can get, and it's not good because we want to pair, like Ken said, you know, we want complementary football to showcase at least in 8 to 10 games a year where we feel like our defense is doing their living up to their bill and the offense is, well, we win it or not, whatever, but at least there's a gap there. But right now, it's scary, man. The Saints they live in the playoffs, and they got a great Hall of Fame, probably potential coach, and obviously a Hall of Fame quarterback. So a lot on deck, but I don't have any positive. I don't have any optimism with Gunther. None.
No, me either. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if a change during change during the season is not gonna do much either as
And,
well.
I mean, if you look at it this way, like Cable, people say was one of the reasons we went for Colton Miller. Well, a lot of people say the reason we went for Clelin Ferrell was because, right, Gunther said that was his guy. So if he doesn't end up working out, like Ken said, maybe he does have a better sophomore year like Miller did. But if he doesn't, hey, Gunther, we're giving you guys. We got all these picks for you, and if some of these things don't start working out, I mean, we paid two of the higher tier free agency linebackers in free agency. We went out and got Malik Collins. We went out and we got two cornerbacks high in the draft. He's getting his wealth of picks, so something's got to give.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what the answer is there, and I mean, if it's Marinelli getting promoted there, I know it's week one. I get it. I get that. There's still a lot of football to be played, and these guys still got to learn how to play with each other. But I think next Monday night, is going to be really telling to see if this defense can do it, can pull us through. Because right now,
I agree.
I agree with Sean too. I just don't have any faith in Gunther. And you know what? I'm not even going to blame Gunther. I'm going to blame Gruden, because Gruden needs to be a man and pull the trigger.
Yeah, and I also think, and I thought we'll kind of leave it with this too, is like he has to coach as if he has a bad defense. Like just be honest with yourself. Like when you're up 27-15, coach like you have a bad defense, and continue to be aggressive in that game, and then you'll be fine. But that's probably the biggest thing that I would have.
You know what the weird thing is I don't think we have bad defensive players at all. I think we have a lot of talent there, and we've had in the past years. We've had
the defense
talent.
is coaching, Ken. You know that
It's the coaching, and that's what the thing is. I think the talent is there. I mean, you look at Abram, you look at Mullen, even the shades of what Arnett was doing yesterday. The line play is good. I think Farrell could be really good, and it's just the coaching. And Paulie, if he was a good coach, they would have never let him go in Cincinnati. That's my thing.
He'd be the head coach.
Yeah, exactly. There you go.
That's my thing. So who's controlling the snap count? So if Carl Nassib's getting 20 snaps on defense, but who went out and got him in free agency? Was that all Mayock saying, "Oh, he'll fit your system," or was Gunther like, "Yeah, I'll take him"? Yeah, you'll take him, but he's playing 20 snaps in a game. That Benson Mayoa, like you said, I mean, what is that? Like that's failure of rotational snap. Arden Key came around the edge good twice after. He played like 29 snaps. I mean, Maurice Hurst, who got the sack, was in the 20 range of snaps. But look, Cleland's on there, 58 snaps a game, hands on his hips, and the humidity. I mean, and like you said, guys, to be fair, he's moving them around inside, outside. So what are you developing there? Like, what is the criteria for you to go out and do that? To me, that just doesn't make sense. Like, you have to figure something out there. I just don't have faith. I feel like certain coaches do things, and I've said it before. When I really was just done with Paul Gunther was the Houston game last year, when we had an established way to win that game by getting a stop, and we allowed DeAndre Hopkins to just eat in the slot, one of the best wide receivers in football. We didn't change anything. No scheme, right? You said, Dwayne, he didn't change nothing.
Nobody went underneath him to take that away. So
nobody doubled, boxing him, shadowing him. Third
linebacker.
You know what I understand is if us as podcaster wannabe analysts can point this out, why the hell can't they do this in the film room? Like, I don't understand that. I don't get it.
So De La Soul is my favorite rap group of all time, and they had a song called "Ego Trip." And the ego of those of coaches in the league will not allow them to admit they're wrong. They'd rather lose than admit they're wrong. I've said this for years, and I totally agree with it because I don't understand. There's certain things that are so basic, and football is probably more complicated than we think it is, and it's probably simpler than they make it. So like I don't understand why. You know what I mean? It's just that's the way I look at it. And like I don't understand what the hell is going on where you have and that Hopkins game where Carr that was one of the Houston game and the Lion game where this Carr was lights out.
Lights out.
You should not have lost either one of those games. I mean the play the Tyrell Williams was just quarterbacking at the highest level. And it just drove me crazy that we lost that game because that's when I knew we weren't making the playoffs. But to watch D Hop, who is just listen, he's incredible. You saw he torched the Niners. So Robert Saleh should have took a job last year because he might not get one this year because the Niners are not going to be as good. But to me, like you have to make an adjustment there to take that away, not just say, oh, the rest of the league is doing. I'm not worried about the rest of the goddamn league. I'm worried about the Raiders.
Yeah, it's tough. It's
And I'm the Rainbow Raider. I'm the one who's the most positive person in the room. So,
I'm somewhere, I'm
in the
on
middle, right?
positive side.
In the middle,
No,
middle.
I'm more on the positive side,
Yeah.
but Sean's Mr. Hawaiian black rain cloud over there, and you know what? It is.
That's
what
all
it
right.
is.
That's all right.
We when it comes down to it, all of us have invested, probably at least 60 years of fandom here
Oh,
sitting
yeah.
in this room, and we've seen the bads, mostly bad. We see what these other teams are doing that are like the Saints that have turned their organization around and they're perennial playoff contenders.
They win forever.
Yeah, look at the Rams. The Rams put together something. The Rams were shitty for a long time. There's these teams that do it, and I do think that the Raiders have the talent on both sides of the ball, and it's just going to go back to the coaching. And if it's something that's an ego thing, and I know there's nobody bigger with an ego in the NFL than John Gruden, and his haircut says it alone. But I think that it goes on him. That's why I'm not super upset at Gunther, because it's Gruden that is the manager of this team. He's the one that's got to make the call here. Like, hey, do you want to make a change? No, we'll give him another shot. It's not working out. This Saints game is going to be the one. You got to play this game. You got to win it to show that you can beat Kansas City in Kansas City. That's it.
I think I'm feeling your drive, Ken, because to me it's like you hear that term, they call it like a measuring stick game. We kind of thought we'd beat Carolina. We were favored by 3 from Vegas. Okay, we won by 4 points. We're kind of where we needed to be. This is like we need to see this team fight back and like compete with a contender, right? With a playoff contender.
Yep, I agree.
And that's going to come less from the players. Like the way we use Ruggs was so brilliant last week. I think it's only the tip of the iceberg there. I think Edwards will start to get some targets. I think Waller should be a big factor this week because of how
They
good
can't
the
handle
corners are.
they can't handle Waller this week.
Their corners are great. They may I'm not gonna say take away, but they may keep Ruggs underneath. They may take away Brian Edwards. They may do that, but so some things gotta happen. But schematically, this is where you make your due as coaches, as a staff. You know what's coming in. You have an extra day to prepare this week, right? It's a Monday night game. You're at home. You're in the comfort. I know not crowd-wise, but you're at home where you guys been at the facilities. You really need to employ some tactical things, take calculated risks on offense, maybe special teams, little, fixes and things we see on film. And defensively, really hinges on what Gunther is going to come up with, because I hope to God that Gruden was shaking him down, knowing that that's one of his best friends in real life, Paul Gunther, is telling him, like, that wasn't good enough. That's Teddy Bridgewater. And we gave up 30 points, and they had some drop passes. They very well could have outscored us. We understand they have CMC. Well, guess what? You can't boohoo and cry about it. Here comes Alvin Kamara. So it's put up or shut up time. And it's really, I think coaching is important. It is so important. We've seen guys like Jared Goff go to a Super Bowl, Matt Ryan go to a Super Bowl. Well, in my mind, as much as I'm a critic of Derek Carr, he's right there with Jared Goff and Matt Ryan.
As far as talent, no question.
I agree. With
No
that.
question.
There are
I'll
some
agree with
things
that.
I don't like as much, but I'm just saying, like, they're kind of that same.
That tier. They're that tier. of
They're
quarterbacks, yeah.
smart. They're pocket passers. But hey, if other teams can win with them, Gruden, if your defense isn't up to status quo, you're gonna have to move on. So tough decisions coming for Gruden. You got potentially a fiasco with Trent Brown that doesn't want to play football, and you potentially have an in-house fire you may have to make with Paul Gunther, which we kind of all saw coming with the Marinelli signing. So it's tough. I mean, this Saints game is a measuring stick game. You go out and you lose 48-10 or something. Some things are gonna. It's not gonna look good, now than having to go on the road the next game. But coaching is everything in this league, and I think we did a good job of that on offense. But defense, man, Gunther, I don't have any faith.
I think and I'm going to look ahead here, to the Patriots game. If we do drop against the Saints here, which it is very likely, I think they can go into New England, especially because that crowd is not there. It's warm, I think that they can beat the Patriots and Cam Newton. Cam Newton didn't really impress me in the highlights yesterday. Did you guys see him get his chain yanked at the end of the game?
Yeah.
But I just think that I almost kind of want to see something happen bad if it's for the sake of losing Gunther. And I hate to say that because it is only the second game, but half of Raider Nation, their minds have made up about Gunther. And it's not
Probably
wrong.
more than that.
Yeah, and it's not wrong. Yeah. And if it sucks that if it sucks that, like I said, we're just podcasters and we tweet stuff out, but we're seeing it. We just want these guys to win, and I don't think Gunther's it. Prove me wrong. If they win and they hold them to 14 points, that's a win in my book.
Shit, 14 points.
I'll take that any day.
I will. If we win and we hold them to 14 points, and I know you guys say I'm a bad black cloud, but let's not forget I picked them to win 11 games this year, more than both of you.
That's because I pumped you up, man. we were like,
I am a negative Nancy, but I have the diehard optimism is boiling within, man, and I like what we have.
No problem. All right, guys. Listen, thank you for listening to the Cover 3D Raider podcast. We really appreciate you guys. This is the time we're waiting for. We did all the pre-shows. Now we're talking about real, actual football.
Yes, sir.
And the Raiders win 34 to 30. Should have been 34 to 17, but we'll talk about that next time. And we'll see you next week, guys.
all right, keep calm and Raider on.
Listening.